because you're only going to get to go travel so far, and you have to find the right resources in that direction of travel. So if you choose the wrong way to go, you can really hose yourself.
Yeah, absolutely, and certainly like in my play of this game, like when I get myself to the point where I have a little bit of food stability and my character's in a good state, depending on how long it is until winter comes, because there's winter in the game too. Which speaking of time pressure, one of the projects that I will adopt is just like, okay, I need to explore another part of the map that isn't explored yet, right? Because you really don't want to just sort of wander aimlessly and take what you get, right? Like you want to have at least a general plan for your day figured out for pretty much every time you leave your base camp. And actually, like a big part of this game, like centers around this sort of development of base camp, right? Where it's having certain things like, here's my science machine, here's my fire pit, maybe I have a crock pot or some farms or whatever, and there's on and on things that you can do to build sort of fixed tools that alleviate some of the pressures on you. But because they're fixed in space, right? Like it's very much about building a base or more likely bases, right? As you get farther into the game, and so that's something that's interesting to consider. I don't know the extent that we're going to pursue that. Certainly, like we know we're going to have some degree of that because we have established with our Kickstarter backers that at a certain level of support, like they get a special space in the world that they can operate out of, and that's going to raise some of those issues about like what is the utility of a home base and to what extent do you rely on that, and you are about to be in darkness. That was close.
I like how everybody in this room just like breathed in.
Yeah. I did envision Will getting past day 2, so I'm glad that seems to be occurring.
Will, do you have enough wood for the night?
Maybe.
You can burn pine cones and boards and grass and.
Well, and yeah, she seems to like to burn everything anyway. So in a pinch, I think you have enough stuff to burn. Not all of it necessarily do you prefer to burn. But I've certainly been in those situations in this game as well. So when it comes to housing, that is something that me and Paul we've had some talks about, and there will be a design document coming your way as I feature creep into the game.
Okay.
Being a bad producer that I am.
No, I mean like Paul is in fact the guy who is ultimately in charge of the vision for Underworld, right? Like he doesn't promote himself the way that he might, but man, he should, and definitely player housing is one of his babies conceptually for this. So I am eagerly looking forward to that.
Look, just going down that rabbit hole a week or two ago, one of the things that I notice is you look at Skyrim and EverQuest 2 and a couple of the other ones. Some of them have really good builders, and some of them do a really good job of places for storage or some sorts of crafting. But they're all like plain Jane wooden houses, right? Nobody's doing like Doctor Strange's Sanctum Sanctorium or anything remotely cool. So that's one of the things that if we end up going down that route, that's one of the things I want to explore is some funky homes instead of just like I have a wood house or.
Yeah. Let's see. Looking at the comment stream, Koshiro is mentioning the idea of there being a day-night cycle reflected in the behavior of life forms, or possibly variations in water level, and that is definitely stuff that we have talked about, having other kinds of daily cycles, or even without a day-night cycle per se, like there can still be rules about the behaviors of certain lights that then tie into the behaviors of plants or animals that respond to them. So definitely something that we are pursuing.
And just like in Don't Starve, the animals have some of their own cycles outside of the day-night cycle. Like some animals, what is it?
There's mating for the beefalo.
The mating for the beefalo. Like
there's certain birds that appear at certain times of year, which sorry, I'll get closer to the mic. Which some crafting recipes depend on certain colors of feather, which means like you're only going to get white feathers from the snowbird, right?
yeah. So, and we've definitely talked about that for Underworld. Some of the animals having some inherent cycles, whether it's mating cycle or migration cycle, things like that. All right, Will, what's your goal for today? What's your goal for today, Will?
Beefalo. I'm gonna find some beefalo after making a chest because I don't have a lot of inventory and I can't remember how to make a backpack.
Where's the wiki?
No wiki. Stumble through.
That's our rule for today. No wiki.
Yeah.
I think it's mostly just grass and sticks, though, to the backpack. Yeah. It's under survival. Yeah. Hey, look, you just don't have enough sticks.
I like it that you just stand this creepy machine and gain knowledge.
Yeah. The science machine doesn't explain very much like what it does. Like it breaks objects down into their scientific components. So one of those things that apparently doesn't need a big narrative explanation, because really what explanation could there be that would be any more satisfying than that? Oh, hey, look, a boomerang. You're in luck. But do you have enough practice with the boomerang to keep it from smacking you in the face? It does take some finesse. All right. Wait, what just happened? Oh yeah. Yeah, the skeletons are clearly there to send you a message about what kind of world you're in too, right? Like this is your fate. It's coming before too long. Memento mori. That's Latin, by the way. It's a thing. All right.
Do you ever notice that the science machine actually looks like a dude?
It does, in fact, look like a dude. Yeah.
Oh, that's a sword.
I don't know what that has to do with science, but there you go.
Well, sometimes you have to kill science.
Let's see. Someone else vamp for a while.
Vamp.
So you got the boomerang. You can use that to get rabbits, can't you?
Yes, you can.
I never saw a boomerang before.
Oh, awesome. It's also very deadly.
Yeah. Too late at night.
Yeah,
Too late at night,
like
yeah.
You're gonna have fewer options.
I got skilled enough that I actually killed a rabbit with an axe.
I saw the graveyard up north. You can find good stuff in the graveyard if you have a shovel.
Yeah, go there at night, because I'm sure nothing possibly bad can happen.
Okay. Tim, did you find out what this thing does? The divining rod.
It divines.
The divining rod does. This is not an amazing description. That's why I never made one.
Oh, the divining rod is completely irrelevant to your experience. So what it does, I was mentioning how there's kind of like with the Ender Dragon and stuff in Minecraft, right? Like there's things that like kind of are end game goals, but like no one actually ever tells you to do them. So in the case of Don't Starve, you can actually escape this world and go on to a new world with all your knowledge of crafting intact. and with whatever inventory you can carry with you, right? Which is, on the one hand, like, you're leaving behind your whole base. On the other hand, you are starting over at like day one with all these advantages. So that's nice. But the way you do it is like there's these little set pieces in each world with these things in them: the crank thing, the metal potato thing, the wooden thing. And what you do is you find all of the things and you bring them to the wooden thing, right? And that opens up a gate to the next world. But the divining rod helps you find them, because there's like these few like things like scattered, one in each spot, widely separated in the whole world. So it can be easy to like get to the point where you've like found several of them, but you know, you're just gonna light the entire world on fire, aren't you? This is not the default character, by the way, for those of you who are new to Don't Starve. This is one of the unlockable characters. Is a pyromaniac. She has this little thing she can carry around so she never has to worry about being entirely without a light source. But unfortunately, when her sanity goes down far enough, she starts just lighting things on fire without asking you.
So explain that mechanic to me, because I can't figure out what makes it go up and down other than picking flowers.
Okay, so sanity. So sanity. All right, see,
it's fairly realistic.
Like, you can't keep your head in the wilderness survival situation without some of life's little luxuries and comforts. What makes it go down? It'll go down slowly over time, just by like at nighttime, right? Being in the darkness, it'll go down. And then there's lots of stuff that'll make it go up, but none of which is particularly all that easy to come by. So picking flowers makes it go up. That's nice. If you pick enough flowers, you can make a flower garland that you can wear, so you have a pretty garland on your head. There's other like clothes that are basically just snappy clothes instead of utilitarian clothes. So like the silk top hat you can make from spider silk. While you're wearing the silk hat, your sanity goes up. You can make pumpkin cookies or honey taffy. The green mushrooms, if you cook them, will give you a lot of sanity. If you don't cook them, they're a bad trip and they really hurt your sanity.
What about the red mushrooms?
I forget. The red mushrooms, each of the mushrooms has one effect when cooked and one effect when uncooked, and mostly they're not that. They've got some significant downside to them. So they take some work to use well, because like you have to combine a mushroom that like has a benefit on one side with a mushroom that will undo whatever bad thing the first mushroom did to you. Mushrooms are complicated, in other words. Mostly I just stick to cooked green mushrooms for restoring sanity and red mushrooms for crock pot filler. And I don't bother with blue mushrooms because you can only get them at night, like in the like actually completely dark night. Which is, you know, a little harder to arrange. But if you can get them, like one raw and one cooked blue mushroom are a net plus on all your meters. So that's nice. Since you asked.
Well, you know, it's good to know your mushrooms.
Yeah, and this is actually one thing. Like, back to the game that we're working on. Like, after Ultimate Underworld, like a lot of the survival mechanics there were about sort of like finding things like cheeses and things that like, why are these even here, right? Like, where did the cheese in Ultimate Underworld come from? The only non-humanoid mammal in the game was rats. So was someone milking the rats? I guess. But also, like, you know, just the random flora that you could find sitting around in the underworld, the little plants and the mushrooms and stuff. Like, you could eat those, and you know, those had some nutritional value. And afterward, for the Underworld 3 that we never did get to make at that time, that finally we are getting to make, right? Like, but in those days, like I spent a lot of time thinking about, I would have liked to have been a lot more to. You know, like knowledge about different kinds of plants you could find in the underworld and what they were good for, and that sort of thing.
Yeah,
which is becoming much more a sort of like standard feature of games these days in a way that it wasn't then. So.
Yeah, I find it interesting that we've evolved as designers, that we're just not allowed to do the arbitrary anymore, right? Like, it has to make some semblance of sense.
Oh.
Right? It can't just be like, there's cheese in the underworld. because there's G's.